Every man has fantasized about an older woman at least once, be it a teacher, a friend's mother, a nurse, or an aunt. I was no exception. Something unforgettable happened to me at the age of 21, and I will try to convey it here. Let me start with myself. My name is Alex. I have medium-length wavy hair, brown eyes, and expressive lips. I weigh about 175 pounds. My voice did not match my age. It was masculine with a deep bass note. I was never a handsome guy from the movies, but I was popular with girls. I went to college and studied economics. It was there that I first felt an irresistible attraction to an older woman. Her name was Catherine, a striking woman in her mid-thirties, fatal and attractive. Her thick golden hair framed a face that radiated confidence and cold severity. Her figure was perfect, with curves emphasized by strict suits, tight skirts, and high heels. But most of all, I was captivated by her lips, sensual, painted with scarlet lipstick. When she wrote something on the board, I could not tear my eyes away from her smooth movements, from the way the fabric of her skirt hugged her hips. She was the embodiment of male fantasies, strict, unapproachable. This is what drove me crazy. But it was not only about her appearance. She radiated power. Her voice was smooth, controlling. Her gaze piercing to the depths of the soul. I could not concentrate on her lectures. My notes were just chaotic scribbles, while in my head there were thoughts I should not have been thinking. My grades in her class left much to be desired. I knew I needed to correct the situation before the exam, so I plucked up the courage to ask her for additional lessons. She refused, but after a few days she finally agreed, though she suggested that we study at her home. She didn't have an office, and it seemed like a logical option. I came to her in the evening, bringing a box of expensive chocolates. When she opened the door, I was speechless for a second. The semi-transparent, short black dress hugged her figure perfectly. Her beautiful legs drove me crazy. I couldn't take my eyes off them. But her gaze remained cold and professional. "Come in. Let's start right away," she said with cold severity. The apartment was cozy, with soft, warm lighting. Shelves lined with books and a dark red blanket draped over a leather chair created a feeling of warmth and mystery. We sat at the table, textbooks and notebooks spread between us, but I couldn't take my eyes off the thin line of her neck and the curve of her collarbones disappearing beneath the fabric of her dress. The atmosphere was almost intimate, but Catherine didn't acknowledge it. She handed me a few books and told me to start reading. Then she left the room. 40 minutes passed. She didn't return. I put the book down, looked around, and heard the sound of running water. My heart started beating faster. I stood up and went to the bathroom door. It was only slightly ajar. Inside, Catherine was taking a shower. Hot water flowed down her curves. She closed her eyes and tilted her head back, immersing herself in the pleasure of the moment. I couldn't tear my eyes away. Her skin was smooth, glistening as droplets rolled down her chest, down her stomach, dissolving into the foam. I held my breath, feeling excitement take over me completely. Suddenly she turned around. Our eyes met. "Alex?" Her voice was a mixture of surprise and indignation. I jerked back, retreating to the living room. My heart was pounding. I grabbed my backpack, ready to leave, but a second later she was already standing in front of me, in just a towel, her wet hair sticking to her shoulders. Her gaze was not so much angry as piercing. "Were you spying on me?" Her voice was low, dangerous. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." She took a step forward, closing the distance between us. Her scent, warm, sweet, with notes of jasmine and vanilla, surrounded me. She reached out and placed her palm over my groin. I shuddered. "Really?" A sly smile touched her lips. "Then why are you hard, Alex?" I couldn't answer. Desire had completely overtaken me. She slowly pulled the towel down. She took her time, as if playing with my emotions, testing the boundaries. Drops of water slid down her collarbones, tracing the curves of her body, while her eyes locked onto mine, reading every reaction. "You wanted this, didn't you?" Her voice was soft but commanding. I was trembling. A hot surge of desire gripped me, making me forget about rules, boundaries, and the fear of consequences. Catherine stepped even closer, her fingers lightly running along my neck, then my chest. She enjoyed the moment, teasing, provoking, raising the tension to its peak. When her lips approached my ear, I felt her hot breath. "Show me what you've learned, Alex," she whispered. The world around me ceased to exist. There was only her and me, lost in the heat of passion, where reality blended with fantasy. Later, after lovemaking, as we lay beside each other and my breathing remained unsteady, she ran a finger along my chest, drawing an invisible pattern. "Consider this an advanced lesson," she said with a slight, barely noticeable smile. "Please subscribe to the channel, like it, and you can also leave your comments. These actions help promote the channel on the YouTube platform and inspire me to release new sweet stories for you, my dear viewers. You can also watch other stories by logging into the channel or following the links. Later, after lovemaking, as we lay beside each other and my breathing remained unsteady, she ran a finger along my chest, drawing an invisible pattern. "Consider this an advanced lesson," she said with a slight, barely noticeable smile. "Please subscribe to the channel, like it, and you can also leave your comments. These actions help promote the channel on the YouTube platform and inspire me to release new sweet stories for you, my dear viewers. You can also watch other stories by logging into the channel or following the links.